I'm Nathaniel Lee,
I'm Isaiah Johnson.
and this is our soil monitor project. So the goal of this project was to develop a application that follows the industry best practices and design patterns. And doing that, we developed an IoT application using a Raspberry Pi, and the application monitors the moisture levels of soil in connected plants. Okay.
So whenever you at your leisure.
So some of the design decisions we made were following a few of the Gang of Four design patterns, including the facade pattern, factory, and singleton pattern. And in designing the overall application, we used the N-layer architecture and an MVC pattern for the project. And as you can see here, we just have our very simple database schema as well. So as far as the tools that we used a Raspberry Pi with a moisture sensor, and our primary project was a enterprise Java application. Transporting data between the Pi and our project was REST APIs written in Java. And to display our data, we used Chart.js for the graph and Bootstrap tables for the tabular display, and all the data was stored in a MySQL database.
Okay, so limitations and bugs. So caching data was inefficient because when we would cache data for the plant, we'd be sending updates to the server every 30 seconds. The issue was that once a plant was cached, we wouldn't be able to show the updated version. We couldn't shove the updated version into the. I'm sure there was a way to do it, but that would have been a very, very time-consuming feature to implement. And in reality, the number of data points within the database, I think we were taking them at 30 seconds a piece, but typically it would be done in increments of like an hour or so. So there wouldn't be nearly as many data points as there are right now. Displaying plant data can cause performance issues. Like I just said, we were taking samples every 30 seconds. So we're getting 2 samples a minute, 120 every hour. So when we have it running for 3 days straight, you're going to get a lot of data points. So we were at about 40,000 data points, and so you can tell when it starts to slow down. For the future, we'd like to be able to allow the user to add new plants to their profile, and then to be able to switch between all those plants, or monitor them all at the same time, and have the graph real time updating all of them at the same time. And then being able to compare the plant's moisture consumption to plants of a similar type. So you could kind of see a lot of plants have different recommended levels of moisture. Some of them don't need as much water as others. So it would be nice to be able to allow the user to search between different types of plants to see where their plant lines up. And then we're going to do a demo now. So here's the home page of our application. It's a login page. As you can see, we have data validation on that. If you click there, you can register. We have data validation here as well. Yeah, so you go back out to the login. So we'll put in a login that is already registered. So this is your home page for a user login. This is going to be the graph that's displayed that shows the plant's data. If you hover over it, you can see where the plant data is at a given time. So you can see that I watered the plant, moisture went up, held steady, and then these were taken a little ways apart, so that's why it dropped so much. It was taken like 2 days later. You can talk about this.
So this is just a table breakdown of all the data that you see in the chart. So it gives the plant name, the moisture level, and the time that it was entered into the database. And there is a row here for every single entry that is in the database as well. So this is where we can have some performance issues if there's too many records in the database.
Yes. So like a way to combat that might be only showing the last 2 months worth of data or something like that. Would be a way to combat it. Yeah, I'll do this one. So
Okay.
this gives the user a list of the current plants that they have registered to them. Green meaning that's the active plant. So right now my plant 2 is active. So you can see it right there. And then if I made it inactive, oh shoot. Whoops, I accidentally. So now they're both inactive. Change this one to active. Refresh, and then you can see here that it's active. So every 30 seconds, it would do that. So this would then real-time update and turn to this blue color, and that would signal that it's a new plant that's being monitored. And add plant functionality wasn't implemented, but that would be one of the future things that we'd want to do, is to add a modal that would pop up that would allow them to add a plant to this list here and then set it to active or inactive. So yeah, I think that's basically it.
Yeah,
Or anything.
that's everything.